their doctors are making $200,000 a year in France. In the United States, they're making 7 figures and more. So that's like the bottom line. It's all about money. That's what you're going up against. You can't change it. You'd have to restart everything all over again in order. That's the only way, and obviously that's never going to happen. So.
I just said
well, your day's coming up because I've lived in New York. I've lived in the Deep South, and I've met prejudice of black people both places. The difference between the South and the North is that when you get to New York and you get to your type of people, your type of prejudice is raging hatred. And if you can get those charges, no, you're lucky you haven't committed murder yet. You're on your way because you got so much anger. You're on your way to committing murder.
You don't even know if I have. But listen, the guy one-eyed and he's black. I know, seriously. Stop saying, why are you talking about crazy stuff? Nobody's killing anybody over here.
Excuse me, fellas. Can we get back to our caller, please? We still have another interview we need to do. Thank you.
Yeah, we just want to continue with the show. I appreciate American Aryan's call. I appreciate Hijacker's call. And it's all good, American Aryan's entitled to his opinion and everything, and I respect his opinion and his right to have that opinion.
Yeah, and if he calls in again, he's going to have to call in with a real phone number and not a hidden one. Because he wants to hide chicken shit. Anyway, okay, I cleared the boards. You just got your guests on now, so.
Wanda, are you still there?
Yes, I'm about to get off.
Slam the phone down. I don't blame you either.
Woo, okay.
Do you still want to go through with this interview?
Yes, we can, but I just wanted to make mention that I am still employed with the state of Michigan, so certain things I will not be able to speak on.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Let me
all right.
ask you, who were you hired by and what correctional facilities were you employed at?
I was previously a corrections officer hired through the state of Michigan, and I worked at Ryan Correctional Facility.
That's in Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
Okay. Had you any previous experience in law enforcement or military training before being hired as a correctional officer?
No previous experience, none. The only requirement that the state asked for hiring in was so many credit hours in certain areas, and that was about it.
Okay. Do you feel you were properly trained for that job?
At the facility that I was working in, yes. I was properly trained for where I was located.
Okay. Were you a participant or a witness to any brutality against any other prisoners in the prison system?
Fortunately, I was not. I never was a participant. I never actually saw anything. Things went on in other areas at the time that I was working, but when I got to that location, everything was already calmed down by other officers getting to the incident before I got there.
Yeah.
So I never actually witnessed it myself.
Okay, so, but there were like injuries and et cetera when you got there or whatever?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Were you ever a victim of a prisoner attack or a witness to a correctional officer being attacked by a prisoner?
No. Like I said, everything, I don't know, I guess I just look at it was all by the grace of God. I was never in anything. I was never a participant of anything. Yeah. Everything happened on grounds but away from me.
Okay.
So, and I did that almost 17 years. And
okay.
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
I left because I was burnt out, and I needed to excel in my career.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why I changed departments. I didn't leave the state. I just changed departments.
Okay. You got into another department out of the correction.
Have you ever been a prison guard for the women? Or just men?
Just men.
Just men.
Yeah, just men the whole time.
Were you ever ordered to do something to a prisoner that you were uncomfortable with?
Oh, absolutely.
Such as?
Such as writing a bogus ticket, and those are tickets that are written usually can get the guy either put in segregation or, it could change his level, his status level.
Yeah.
Because we have different levels that prisoners are at. We initially started off at the second and fourth level at Ryan, and then they changed it to a level 2 prison. But the levels go all the way up.
And changing his level would keep him from, getting out earlier or whatever?
Exactly. It would mess up his out time. It could also change his facility location, where he could be moved up north, away from his family, where it would be very inconveniencing for his family to visit.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the rides I was told is like 8, 9, 10-hour rides, drive to the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Upper Peninsula. We know about that.
Right. So,
spend the night to make a visit.
Exactly. Like a weekend.
Do you feel like that most female guards were most likely to fraternize with the prisoners?
I would not say most. And of course you had a few here and there, but I would definitely not say most.
Yeah.
Do you think that women should work in a men's facility?
Oh, I feel they should, yes, absolutely. I mean, because they can do the job just as well as a man could. Now, when it comes to physical power, of course, they're lacking in that by stature. You know what I'm saying? But to do the job, brain-wise and all of that stuff, hey, the women can do it.
Right.
Do they train you that you have to run up against a 400, 300-pound man?
No, not at all. I mean, they teach you techniques to try to get you out of a situation if it comes to that, but never to actually try to just come up against a man. No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Have you ever been in a situation that you felt threatened your life?
Yes, when I started off, of course, when we come in, as they call it, red tags, when we are still going through the academy training, of course you have prisoners that are going to test you. They're going to see, how they can get over on you or what they can get you to do, how afraid are you, being in a prison setting. So, that I did go through that.
Yeah.
I did go through that. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been approached by a prisoner to bring in contraband?
Oh, yes. Yes, until, like I said, this pretty much all happened when I was first transitioning in. After so long and word got around as to who I was, that kind of died down. That died down because, unfortunately, a lot of the guys knew me from the neighborhood, and they kind of spreaded the word that, okay, leave her alone because this is who she is, and so on and so forth. So anyway, I didn't have any problems after that little new phase thing that I went through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it common for officers to look the other way while prisoners were having sexual intercourse with visitors or with each other or whatever?
That wasn't going on when I came in. I heard about things that was taking place before I entered into corrections. You hear a lot of stories about what goes on and who did what back then and all of this. But by the time I came in, my class of people, that kind of died. You know what I'm saying? They kind of put a lot on a lot of things that was going on previously before I entered.
Well, were you aware that some officers were sexually involved with prisoners?
Yeah, we're told that during the academy training.
Uh-huh.
We're told that. We're told about, how this is against policy, rules, and regulations, that if, in the prison system, even as an employee, you're guilty and have to prove yourself innocent. That's pretty much how it went. So if any allegations went against you, an anonymous letter that some prisoner could have written or an outside letter coming in from a visitor or whomever, it's like they put you on stop order, and then you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
That these things that were told about you or against you, you are innocent of, and you just have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Whether through paying your own attorney or whatever. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, let me ask you, you have to get your own attorney and everything, huh?
Well, you know what? Sometimes situations had came to the point where officers did get their own attorney. I guess because they felt that they were better represented by a paid attorney.
Yeah, they didn't feel comfortable with the system, huh?
Right. Someone that they had liberty to choose.
Right. Were you aware that correctional officers were bringing in cell phones, drugs, and other contraband to the prisoners?
Of course, we hear about it. We're told about those things. We have needed, they call it, used to be a thing called roll call. They cut that out because of the budget situation. But anyway, they would discuss things like that in roll call and tell you, what has gone on, what was found during shakedowns, and they'll pass around a picture of it because they have to take pictures of those things.
Yeah.
And, so we were told about it.
Well, how does the officer receive payment if the prisoner has no cash in the cell? How do you get payment for a cell phone or bringing in some dope to him? Do you know?
You said I'm sorry.
Yeah, how would an officer receive payment? Like if he brings in a cell phone to a prisoner and he wants $100 for it, how does he get the money?
Well, how does the officer get the money? That's true.
Yeah.
You're asking me. Okay. Yeah. I was told that relatives on the outside.
The relatives give him the money?
Right. The inmates have relatives on the outside, and the relatives. Now, this is what I've been told now, so I don't know.
Right.
I've just been told that relatives do things in the outside. So, that's what I was told.
Yeah. Did you run up against any racist attitudes among the correctional officers in command that you had to deal with?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did.
Do you feel like there's a double standard for like a male correctional officer versus a female correctional officer working in a male's correctional facility?
Well, I haven't had any experiences personally. Things take place where, of course, they put female officers in certain areas where they probably would not put them. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, for instance, if it's something like if it's a really bad area, let's just use this as an example. They probably would not put a female officer there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So things like that, which I didn't have a problem with. Fine, don't put me over there. I'm good.
Right.
Have you ever been on the side where the violent crime offense people are kept? Because I know they keep them in segregation because especially a child molester or stuff like that.
Well, no, they're in general population. They are with everybody else. Yeah, the only people that usually are in segregation are people who have done something within the prison system, where they had a fight or some stabbing, whatever took place, a threat against an officer, things like that has happened inside the prison that will put them in segregation.
Yeah.
For the most part. Right. Exactly. So them just coming in off the street with whatever crime that they committed, no, they're not put in segregation because of their particular crime. They're put in segregation because of something they have done while they have been, while they were incarcerated.
Right. So tell me about the racist attitudes that you experienced in the prison system. Was it the officers against the prisoners or what? Or?
Well, I have not